Hello Keith, wanted to just give you an update of where we are with your app and get some feedback from you. What I want to do is send this off to the Apple Store for approval. It takes a couple of weeks to get approval from Apple, so I want to get it into them quite quickly. But I want to show you what we've got so far and get some feedback from you. So let's start with the home page here. We've taken a lot of the images and imagery from your website, so there's a consistent branding going on here, and that looks very similar to stuff you have on your website, so I think it works quite nicely. Field locations, we got these from your website too, and every one of these, any number of them, can be tapped and go for a map. Here's the map for Station Avenue, and if this were an actual phone, we'd be able to click on this button and get turn-by-turn directions. It's only a preview on my laptop, so that doesn't actually work in this preview mode, but certainly it works in the app itself. And every one of the locations, and if there are additional locations or if any of these are not being used for the upcoming tournament, let me know. We'll make those adjustments accordingly. Tell the team function, you saw this in the demo we did of the Cape Cod Challenge Cup app. It works the same way. You can go in and share by email, share by Facebook, share by Twitter, so the coach or the team manager of every participating team gets this app on their phone, and then they can quickly send an email to everybody on their team, parents, players, relatives, what have you, and they can have that sent directly to them and give them a link to download the app themselves. So that's a good way to make the app get onto as many phones as possible. Here's the schedule tab. What I've done with the schedules, I've set up all the brackets per last year's schedule. I don't know if you're going to be using the same names, but the beach, the cove, the wave, the surf, all of these names I picked up from last year's schedule. And what we've done is I've linked all of these. If we click on, let's say, the Premier, there are schedules, there are results, and there are standings, at least for the older age groups. Of course, for the younger age groups, there's just schedules. But you could click in, and then it goes straight to the actual page within Got Soccer for where those age groups are located. So obviously those will change this year as you map out your 2013 schedule, and we'll change those URLs accordingly in time for the upcoming tournament. So that saves you having to do multiple updates. If we did the schedules the way we did for the Cape Cod Challenge Cup, you would need to find someone to update those, and that may be something you prefer to do. If you've got someone who's willing to do those updates, that's perfectly fine, but this takes the updates that you're already putting through Got Soccer anyway and feeds them directly to your app, so that works out quite nicely. Announcements, you saw this is the push notifications. We've got any announcements that you want to make to anybody who has the app. They come forward as a text, a little typo on there, but beat the Russian pre-order your tournament t-shirts. So this is something you can send out to anybody who has the app, and they'll cut it as a text on their phone, which is more efficient than perhaps sending out emails, or at least in addition to sending out emails. Additional tabs, key dates. This is a calendar function, and you can put key dates in here. So registration opens, I set January 1st. I don't know if that was actually true, but application deadline, again, I'm not sure if that's the actual date, but I just put these in for demonstration purposes. And what you can do is you can go in and put some information about what the actual event is, and just give information to various people about certain key dates that are upcoming. Whether you saw this before, Karen's, it's exactly the same as Karen's. We've got your logo here, and current weather conditions, later in the day weather conditions, even evening weather conditions. That's just an RSS feed from WeatherBug. The notes function, this is something I think you've already seen on Karen's. Just type in your team sheets. Coaches can use this just to set up team sheets, or even take something as simple as a lunch order, substitution notes, whatever things they want to keep a note of during the tournament. Local traffic, this is something that's new. Karen came up with this idea, and I think it's a terrific one, particularly for Cape Cod on Memorial Day weekend. This is just a direct feed to a website that gives local traffic updates, and particularly because of Cape Cod on Memorial Day weekend, if there's something going on at the bridge or there's tailbacks that people need to know about, this is something that we've now added to the app. Soccer news, this is an RSS feed that comes straight from World Soccer Daily, and just gives basic news about what's going on in the world of soccer, and it's a fun thing for coaches who are waiting for games on the sidelines. Social media, you've got obviously Facebook and Twitter feeds, so we can add these, and obviously as more and more social media comes online, we'll add those accordingly. If you get into Pinterest and some other things on your social media presence, that's something we can add to that section. And that leaves hotels. Now what I've done with hotels is I've just taken the list of hotels from your website. There's lots of different ways we can do this, but what I plan on doing, for the time being at least, is doing it like this. And then what Karen has done is she's decided that hotels don't get onto the app unless they're willing to pay for the privilege, and that's perfectly fine. And if you want to do something similar, we can do that. But in terms of sort of getting this approved by Apple, getting this into the approval process, I wanted to have something to put in here. So what I've done is I've listed all the tournaments that you had on your website, and found a photograph online for every single one of them, and then each one is just a live link directly to their website. We may decide ultimately to do this a little differently depending on what your feedback is on this, but initially I just want to make sure that we have something to show Apple, a completed app if you will, so that the guys that are going to have to approve this at the Apple Store will have something to look at and see that it really is a completed, finished app. So that's the way we can handle that. And of course we can add additional tabs. I've left off restaurants and things to do. We didn't really have much on your website. We just had a few links to chambers of commerce. But if you've got sponsor relationships with local attractions, or if you've got sponsor relationships with local restaurants, we can add tabs later for those things. So that's where we stand right now. I've gone about as far as I can without getting additional feedback from you. And I'd love to get your first impressions. Let me know what you think, but more importantly, we need to get this into Apple and to Google for getting into the various stores. We can still make changes even after they're in the stores, but we do need to get that process started because it does take some time. So let me know where we stand. Let me know what you think of what we've done so far, and we'll make whatever changes are necessary. But I want to get this into the stores, into the application process within the next day or two. Thanks.